So we have established one thing, that traditional budgeting is not good enough in our changing world nowadays, and that brought about the change that we now have about our budgeting system, in which we can be talking about beyond budgeting model. So what is budget? A budget can simply be defined to be the financial and quantitative statement. So a budget is a financial statement, and more importantly is a quantitative statement. I want to believe you agree with that. And that statement must be pre-approved, that is approved prior to a defined specific period, future time, that they are actually looking at. And there must be a goal to achieve, an objective. So a budget drives towards achieving an objective, and it is predetermined quantitative and financial statement. Having reminded ourselves of that and established that, types of budgets, we can be talking about the functional budget, in which every department compile their organizations or departmental aim and cost implication. That is functional budget. So it's as per function: sales function, production function, account function, and the rest of the department that an organization could have. Then we can talk about the top down and bottom up type of budgeting. And traditionally, usually, is top down. The big boss make futuristic quantitative costs and financial for the year ahead, for the month ahead, for the quarter ahead, and believes that it should be implemented. Sometimes too, it could be bottom up. So that means, like, that functional now, like functional approach of a to a budget, it could be bottom up, in which a department and people in the department in that particular function prepare their budget and present it upward. We can equally have a periodic budgeting, like quarterly budget and the like. We can have a rolling budget. A rolling budget is a continuous budget, so it keeps on rolling as the year goes by. We can talk about incremental budget. Don't forget, we are just snapshotting all this because our main focus is on beyond budgeting model. Please don't let us forget. So all these types of budgets, they are in detail, but we are not detailing them because our aim is totally different for this purpose and this video. So if you want more of that, you can check us up where we deal with types of budget in detail. So we are on incremental budget, that is, we improve on our cost this year and use it as a stepping stone for next year or next quarter, depending on the specific period of time we are looking at. We can have zero-based budget, in which we nullify everything, all the experience we had this year, we forget about it and build freshly for the new year to come, or new quarter, or new month to come, as the case may be. So it's zero budgeting. Then we can have activity-based budgeting. Activity-based budgeting, which is based on the activity that we believe that we will be executing. So those are some of the types of budgeting that comes to mind. And when we are talking about budgetary system too, we must mention a budget manual. A budget manual is a list of or a book containing instructions, series of instructions about how to go about the budget, maybe departmental budget or any of the types of budget that the organization may have. So it's a book containing series of instructions, the do's, the don'ts, and the like of that procedure. Then we can talk about master budget too. When we are talking about budgetary control system, we will talk about master budget. Don't forget one of the types of budget is functional budget, which is departmental budget. And at the end of the day, as an organization, we must have an holistic budget. So this holistic budget is what we can term the master budget. That is, as an organization, the totality of what we are expecting to expend is so amount of money. So that will be contained in the master budget. Meanwhile, functional budget belongs to individual functions and departments. Also, when we are talking about budgeting, we must but talk about budgetary control. Having built up cost implication for our next assignment or activity that we are aiming at, we must at a point actualize them. So budgetary control deals with the aspects of comparing the envisaged or the budget now against the actual amount spent. So budgetary control, simply put, is the comparison between what we intended to spend and what we eventually spent. So having established ourselves in this topic now, we are going into the critical aspects of this topic. That is, why did we jettison traditional budget? So the 10 problems or issues that we found against traditional budgeting, a question could examine that aspect. What can we say against traditional budgeting system? And don't forget, when we're talking about traditional budgeting system, all those types of budgeting that we've mentioned are under traditional, be it activity-based, be it zero-based budgeting, be it functional budgeting, and the host of others that we've mentioned. They are traditional. So what are the issues that beyond budgeting model has come to remedy against traditional budgeting? As we go into it, it is important for us to establish it too that beyond budgeting model is a responsibility model. That is, it casts the responsibility of implementation of budgeting to the operational managers rather than the executive armchair budgeting and the like. It's put the responsibility for budgeting on those that actually are more or less on the field, if we can use engineering term, those that are actually relating with all those aspects of work should budget it, not somebody in the office that just puts one cost down and force it on the real people that are outside doing the greater work. So that is what beyond budgeting model is. So it's a responsibility model is equally an agile model. When we are talking about agile is a term coined from the information technology industry. Actually, it simply means that an organization should be proactive or proactively responsive, so they are fast in responding to the fast-paced business environment that they find themselves. So that is what agility means. So beyond budgeting model is an agile model. Also, it's management transformational and innovative model. It's a management transformational and information innovative model. And by the time we get to the 12 basic principles, we are going to find this to be very correct, that beyond budgeting model is transforms actually first of all the management, the mindset of the organization and the environment, and ensure that we can easily innovate. Innovation simply means making the good to become better and making the better to become best. So we are more innovative. So it's about beyond budgeting model has come to ask a critical question, which the traditional budgeting system will not ordinarily ask. So it asks a fundamental question like, what value is this cost that we are about to spend? What value will it create? So it discusses value creation rather than the traditional method of budgeting that will say that it's not in the budget. We did not have it in the budget, so therefore we could not do it. No. Beyond budgeting model will say if it can create value to our customer and to us also, why not do it? So we are going to do it. That is what beyond budgeting model has come to do. Having established all these key advantages or focuses, aims and objectives of the beyond budgeting model, it is important to reiterate again that weaknesses were found in traditional budgeting. It is very fixed and rigid.